What makes a good video game story? Is it the lack of predictability, the writing, or voice acting? Perhaps it's a combination of these. Whatever it is, it's clear that creating an enthralling story takes up a significant amount of a developer's resources, which is why game makers sometimes decide to forgo story and focus on better gameplay. There are some companies, however, that have the resources to make both excellent games and interesting stories to go with them. So what makes a good story for a video game? The most common thing that makes a game story good is a good twist, such as the one in BioWare's Knights of the Old Republic. People were used to the same tired, he's a traitor, she's a traitor plot twist that they'd gotten used to with Star Wars, and the one in KOTOR caught more people by surprise than any other game. Ratchet & Clank Tools of Destruction also came with a twist at the end of the story that some may have not seen coming. Creating a good twist in the plotline becomes harder for developers every time a company thinks up a new way to surprise people. Every time a gamer sees a plot twist he's never seen before, he learns to look out for it and expect it for the next game. Unless your writer is really good, you won't get away with tired cliches like, your friend is a bad guy. Another thing that can help a story sink its hooks into the gamer is a captivating world. Create a whole new universe from scratch and you'll tempt many to explore it and to discover all its secrets and nuances. The best example of this would be games like Mass Effect or Half-Life 2. Half-Life 2 may not have much of an exploration aspect to it, but the story asks so many questions and is so deep that most gamers can't help but get pulled in. Mass Effect, another RPG from BioWare, went as far as adding several planets that you would never need to go to for the story for exploration. Plus, it added an entire database that interested gamers could read in order to become more informed about the universe. The secret to making an expansive world seems to be to load the game up with information that the player will never use, but will still find interesting. Of course, it is possible to be too deep. Some stories have so much detail that it becomes convoluted and hard to follow. Such is the case with games like Metal Gear Solid, which is written so poorly that it's almost impossible for somebody to follow the plot all the way through without having to stop and go, "Wait, what?" several times. However, both plot twists and expansive universes alone do not a good story make. You still need a technical side for the story. While this may sound trivial, facial animation is something that can make an already fantastic story even better. Such is the case with games like Grand Theft Auto 4, Heavenly Sword, and Half-Life 2. The more time a developer sinks into making their characters' facial expressions look lifelike, the more real and relatable the characters feel. Voice acting is also a big part of creating believable characters. Heavenly Sword was made even more amazing by big-name actors who could really get into their roles. Mass Effect created a buzz by featuring thousands of lines of possible dialogue, every one of which sounded believable and real. Story is rarely something that can make or break a game, but it is always valued as something that can add to the experience. Usually companies only use one or two of the techniques discussed here to make their story worthwhile, but every once in a while a game comes along that will stir up emotions and get the adrenaline flowing better than any amount of epic gameplay ever could.